Welcome, everyone, to Let's Talk Real Estate Investing. In this podcast, we bring insights, experience, and lessons from real estate investing professionals at all stages of their journey, along with industry experts who specialize in helping real estate investors providing essential services. Our goal is to empower you to have the knowledge and strategies to build your own real estate investing plan that aligns with your unique goals. If you enjoy this episode, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. It will help you to continue getting my content that I would hope that it's valuable to you and you'll get notified when the newest podcast has been posted. So my name is Debbie Balfour and I'm a real estate investing professional and a success coach. I help real estate investors like you to develop customized investing strategies and streamline your business operations so that you can scale efficiently, build wealth, and create financial and time freedom. Real estate investing is not a one size fits all, so your strategy should be unique to you. Today, my special guest is moi, myself. I've decided to interview myself for a change. So I'm going to go through a list of questions I've put forward to ask myself, and I will answer it for you. It's going to be a very unique podcast today. So how did I get started in real estate investing? Well, the funny thing is that I've always had this draw to real estate investing since I was young. Like when my parents moved from our family home, they had bought a new home. I thought, oh, I should, buy this home over. I was over in my early 20s, and I should buy this home and then, have roommates and rent it out to roommates. I didn't know the term back then called house hacking, but that was my idea. But back then, I'm not going to tell you my age, but but back then there was no internet. There was no way for me to figure out how to do this stuff. So it was a thought, and then I didn't go forward with it because I thought, oh, I probably wouldn't get a mortgage, and didn't know how to do it. So it kind of went by the wayside. My husband and I, every time we traveled, is within Canada, within BC, especially. We'd love the areas that we travel to, and we'd see properties, and we'd say, oh, that'd be great to buy this, and rent it out and have it as a vacation home. Once again, we didn't know how to do it. So, 2008 was another thing where I went to Las Vegas. My mom was living there, and the complex she was in, people were just like walking away from their homes, and homes that were like bought for over 150,000 were now going for like 43,000, 50,000. And I was like, oh, that would be great to buy some of these and rent it out, but oh, I wouldn't get a mortgage, right? But little did I know that I could have just written checks and bought a few of them because I had lots of equity in my home, approved line of credit on my home that I could have just gone out and bought it. I wouldn't have to worry about that, mortgage side of things. Of course, I know now that I have to also worry about other things like, you know, taxes and setting up a business there. But so those were always the draw. And then in 2016, I did go to educate myself. I took a 3-day workshop, and at that, and I learned so much that could be dangerous. It was just like so much information. I was in there. Really, I could do that, and it's legal. And wow, why didn't I know this earlier? And there was the opportunity after to then get coaches and continue and get mentoring to do this. But my husband was with me, and he kind of pulled me out of there, and they said, hey, it's a money grab. You could do this yourself. And we walked out of there, and I didn't do it myself. I didn't know where to start. I didn't have anybody to reach out to say, hey, give me direction. Who should I talk to? Any of that. So in 2019 now, my son was interested in being an entrepreneur. He was interested in, okay, let's find out more about real estate investing. So he went to that same 3-day workshop, and I went with him. And by the end of it, I was like, I am not walking out of here empty-handed. I'm going to get the help I need. This is really the direction I want to go. And and I took 3 credit cards to pay for the program, but I did it, and that's where my journey really started. So, so that was it. That was part of it. Uh, so, but why? Why did I feel that I didn't need to walk? I couldn't walk out of there anymore. Well, in that same year, I turned 50. And I realized I had this, age to me doesn't matter. I'm fine with telling you my age. I know I joked about earlier, but I'm fine about telling you my age. And, I'm actually turning 56 shortly. But but at the age of 50, it didn't worry me that I was 50, but what started to worry me now is that now retirement started to creep in. Before, I didn't worry about retirement. Now it's like, oh my gosh, I have 15 more years still to work before I could retire. And I thought, I don't want to be working that much longer. Like, I'm exhausted as it is. I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. I can't see myself in this place for another 15 years. But then at the same time, I went, oh my gosh, I only have 15 years. That's it. To come up with retirement income. When I looked at how much money I had in my registered funds and, in my pension, it wasn't enough I'd have that gone in like 2 years. So with the lifestyle I'm living right now, so I realized that wouldn't, when I retired, I wouldn't even be able to live the lifestyle that I'm living right now, much as I wanted a better lifestyle. Now that I wouldn't be having to work anymore, I wanted to travel. I wanted to do all these wonderful things. I wanted to give back to charity. I wanted to, donate my time and do all these things that I wanted to do. And then I couldn't see, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be poor. I'm going to be living in a trailer park, right? I won't be able to do these things. So I was like, I have to do something. I can't continue like this, right? And it's not that my husband and I weren't earning, good money where we were working between the two incomes, and I was in IT. So, I was getting good income, but all our money went on our kids, on raising our kids and giving them, a good, like sending them to private schools, giving them the things that they wanted to build their foundation, all these things and having nice vacations and these other things. So we had no savings whatsoever. All right. So, that's where it all kind of started. I realized that no, I had to do something. And real estate investing was calling to me. All right. So that's how I got started. Um, so what's my why? What is my why for doing real estate investing? Well, as you heard, retirement is a big thing behind there. But we all say, like, why do we want real estate? Why are we investing? It's yes, for all of us, it's about wealth. We want money, but what is money bringing me? Why do I want to use that money? What is that money going to bring me? When I do what I did on myself is like the 5 whys. I kept asking why. Well, why do you want money, Debbie? Oh, I want money so I can travel. I want money so I can, give back to society. I want money, like these kind of things. And when I got down to it, the money, the wealth will give me time. The a whole point of having the money is to give me back time. Time that I can spend with those that I love. My dad died at the age of 57, right? He never got to retire. And that made me and always makes me so aware of how fragile time is, that today is today we should enjoy today because tomorrow isn't promised. And so it's to give me back time to spend with my mom, to spend with my husband, to spend with my kids. So the traveling is for us to travel together, to see places, to do fun things together, to experience life together. So it's to spend time with those that I love. That's and time to give back to society. I love volunteering. I want to be able to do that. So that's what the money will give me. It will give me the opportunity to free up my time in order to be with those that I love and give back to society. So that's my why. Um, What were some myths that I thought about real estate investing? Well, I thought you had to be rich. Like all those times I thought about real estate investing, etc., and thought, oh, that'd be nice to do. I was like, I kind of like talked myself out of it because I thought, Debbie, you've got to have savings. You've got to have a down payment. It's a big down payment on this. You've got to be rich. It's only the rich that invest in real estate. So that's the myth I had around it. And, through educating myself, I learned that I didn't. Like I told you, I didn't have a savings, but I had money in my home. So that's what I used to invest. I used the equity in my home to invest. And that's how I built my portfolio on that. So, what was my first real estate investment? My first real estate investment was actually as a financial partner because I wanted to get started. Like I had all these years to make up for now, right? That's how I thought about it. So I wanted to just get started. So I became a financial partner. I partnered with someone that, already had a place. It was already generating income. They wanted to now take out their equity in that home, take out the down payment that they put and be able to invest that somewhere else. So I was able to join with them. I gave them that money instead, put that and did that down payment, had that down payment part of it. And then we split it like 50-50 on there. And I started generating income right away. I was getting the cash flow. And I did pretty well. We ended up actually, it was a 5-year partnership, but we ended up selling early because the real estate market was doing so well. And it's a good thing that we did because of, not so long after, like, the market went down. So it was a good time to get out. So I was getting cash flow for all that time. Plus, I got some really great equity. So that was my first investment. And that got me started right away. And it gave me time. So I had some money working for me. I used my home equity line of credit. I had my money starting to work for me as I started to learn more about real estate investing, get to know more people, and also, get to know what strategies that I wanted to do. So, but one thing I want to tell you about that first investment is that I contacted them in November and we didn't actually sign the JV partnership agreement until like in January. January 19th, that actually was the date. And the reason for that, it was we were getting to know each other. We were ensuring that this was a right fit. So when you're going into a joint venture partnership, my tip here is that it's like a marriage. You need to do the dating first. You need to make sure that that's the right person, that you have the right values, that that person will be able to in difficult situations overcome it. All those things. You want to really get to know them. So you're not going to just like find a deal and sign it within a week. You shouldn't be doing that. You really should get to know who your JV partners are, and on both sides, right? Whether you're active or passive, you need to get to know each other and make sure your values align, the things you want out of life align, and that you can work together. Because usually those JV partnerships are 5 years, so you want to make sure that works. Okay. What other strategies have I done? Right. So, I've done so since then. I did private lending. I've invested my registered funds in like syndicated mortgages, apartment funds, land equity, so land development ones. I've done I've not converted, I've renovated two, um, two condos. And so I've done like kind of the burst strategy on that one. But I'll explain a bit more about that one. But it was actually it's a mortgage plus improvements that I got right up front on it. And I did that, and I added some walls, and and made a two bedroom into a three bedroom. So there was a bit of conversion happening in that one. And then I also did, so those were long-term rentals. And then I did bought some properties in the Okanagan, which I did the burst strategy on those. I've renovated them, and I used them as short-term rentals. So I had did running short-term rentals for a while there until last year. BC axed the short-term rentals. So now I'm doing co-living. So that's another strategy. So I've got co-living on two of those. One is still, I guess we call it midterm rental now, because it is a 30-day plus, and I have that on Airbnb still. So because that one fell outside of the BC regulations for short-term rentals, because it's a small town, but the town of itself put their own regulations in place, making it only like it has to be 30-day plus. So I think that's oh, and then I also did, I always forget this one, a joint venture partnership as the managing partner, and I had a financial partner on that side. So I think those are all the strategies that I've done. Quite a few when you think that, so as you can hear, I've done a burr, but then I've you done a long-term rental, or then I did a burr, but I did it with a short-term rental. So my rental strategies have been different, and now I've got like co-living, which is like the student rental kind of concept, but I have it because it was an Airbnb. It's just like bring your suitcase and just and you don't have to purchase anything, and they get the room, and they share the rest of the accommodations and all the amenities that I've provided, including a barbecue, and all those even games and everything. I left all of that for them. So yeah, so those are the strategies that I've done. And so let's talk a bit about one of my investments that didn't go as planned. So, that condo I was telling you about, two of them actually that I've done. So it was in the middle of COVID, and I called up before I even purchased. I called up the city, and I asked them, do I need a permit for this? This is what I'm doing. I'm putting up some walls. They're non-structural, and I'm going to, convert this into a bedroom. It already has its own light source, its own heat. It's got a window, right? So do I need a permit for this? And they said no. It falls on the exemptions because it's non-structural. So great, went on my merry way, and I put in, I said, okay, good, I'll be able to do this. And so obviously I closed on that property. And then right at the beginning of, as soon as I, took possession, I reached out to, actually I was trying beforehand, but I reached out to the strata manager, and I said, hey, here's the list of things that I'm going to be doing with with this unit. Please let me know what I need to do. I want to make sure that I'm on the right side of the strata. I want to work cooperatively with them. So let me know what I need to do. And so he gave me instructions about shutting off the water, blah blah blah, exactly the times that we could do renovations. And I specifically told him I was doing, putting up these walls and adding this. And he says, "Oh, great, thank you so much for the information." So so I thought, this is great. This is a great strata. I love I love the strata. Like, this is great to work with. And so. So I did my renovations. I, took out everything like that was original state. I didn't knock down any walls. I actually put up, so there was a dining room, and I closed in the walk through from the kitchen to the dining room, and I put up a wall and a door, and I put a closet in there, and I created another room. So I've made it into a three-bedroom. And place is beautiful. The great thing about this is that if I had rented it out just as a two-bedroom, as it was before, I would get about 1,400. However, putting in that bedroom, although it was tiny, it was not huge. So it's good as a home office or like a baby's room, a room for a kid. But now I've got a three-bedroom and I was able to get 1,900 to start with for that condo. So I increased that, like the revenue I was getting, the income I was getting by $500 by just putting up some walls. But then when I got the appraisal done on the place, it was a $30,000 difference between if I didn't have that room and with the room. So just by putting up those walls, I added $30,000 by putting up a little bit of framing and some mudding, drywall and some mudding and some paint. So that really that's like if you can do that, that's a tip for you. Look for things like that because by just doing that simple thing, you increase the value, you increase the amount of rental income that you're getting. So of course I was like ecstatic. I've done a great job and so I've got these rented out and then 2 years later, one of my tenants decided that they were leaving. And since it was vacant, I thought, no, and the market was up. I thought I'm going to try to sell this particular condo. Well, information got to the strata that I was selling a three-bedroom, which they come back to strata council now, said I didn't have approval to do this, and there was this whole thing around it. Then they said that, well, if I could show that I had a permit for doing this, they would then as an exception approve it. So I didn't get a permit because of course the city told me I didn't need a permit. So I sent an email to the city saying, here's the situation. Could you please, let me know, what I need to do. And then the person that answered said, oh yeah, you do need a permit for that because it's a multifamily and it's a complex building, they called it. Very different to what I'd gotten on the phone. Of course, I did never got in writing an email back from them. I never reached out and said, put that in writing that I didn't need a permit. So I had no proof of that conversation that had happened. So it took me a year to get that all sorted back and forth with the strata council, back and forth with the city. And when I finally got it all the inspector came to see the place. I finally got it to that point where I got the permit and they could come to inspect it. And all the inspector went and said, yeah, it's a wall. And that was it, gave me the permit, and then I sent it in. But for over a year, I was going like my stomach was in knots. I felt like throwing up. I kept thinking that I'm going to have to knock down that wall and, of course, rip up the flooring and replace it because, it's cut around it. And I don't know if I could find that flooring, all of that. There was just like all these worries that was happening. So, but I persevered. I got through it, and I ended up just in the meanwhile with all this stuff. Took it off the market, and I changed it to a 30-day plus rental, which I did pretty well on it. It was and I sold it early last year, and I bought that place for 228,000. I put in 45,000 in renovations, and then I sold it for $393,000. So and it was like so I bought it in late 2020, so December 2020, and I sold it in January of 2024. So you can calculate the returns I got on that. So it was pretty good returns. Right. So I was happy with that in the end, but that's one that didn't go so well at first. And so learn from me, make sure you get those things in writing. whether it's a yes or no, ask for the bylaws that state it, have all of those things in writing. And if you're doing a condo, go to the strata council and make sure you have that in writing, that permission before you get started. Okay, so that's my lessons learned on that one. So uh, as I mentioned before, I'm a real estate investing coach. So why did I decide to be a real estate investing coach? Well, I think I am definitely a teacher at heart. When I was a kid, I was the only one allowed to walk around the classroom because I wasn't walking around talking. I was actually helping the teacher. The kids would ask for my help instead of the teacher's help, and I would go and help them with their assignments. And because I would be finish mine, of course, first. So I would help them out. So since I was young, I loved to teach. In all my corporate roles, I always ended up helping people, learning better ways to do things, creating documents on how to do how to do certain things, how to do roles, writing SOPs, all of those kind of things. So, and eventually I ended up in a corporate role where I was doing that. I was in learning and development. I created programs for I created learning programs for new systems that were being put into place, and I created bite-sized programs for that. And I would also do a lot of webinars and for teaching. So I love teaching and coaching. So when I learned about real estate investing, I was like, why don't everybody know how to do this? So and right away I was like, when I get enough experience, I want to be a coach. Uh, and then another part of that is that I saw gaps in, what was being offered and how it was being coached and those kind of things. And I thought I could fill in those gaps, and I could create a program that really addressed the gaps that I was seeing in real estate investing coaching. So in 2023, so that I lost my job. I was laid off from my company of 16 years, but I was doing real estate investing. So I had that as my backup. And I also had started taking, I had a coach, a business coach that was coaching me through how to build a coaching program. And I was going to do that as I had my job, and then I would have this coaching program nicely set up, and then I would decide to leave my job. But I was laid off way before I could get to that point. I just started doing it. But I thought, okay, this is the universe telling me to do this, so I'm going to forget. I'm not going back to trying to be an employee. I am going to do what I'm passionate about, and I'm going to start my real estate investing coaching. So that's how I got started. Today I mentioned I'm a teacher at heart. So I also volunteer. I'm Roman Catholic, so I volunteer at my church, and I teach what's called prep right now. But for those, not everybody who are not Catholic would understand what prep is. So I'm teaching grade fours, but I've taught grade twos and ones and six. So I teach them Catholic religion, get them prepared for to receive their gifts. And it's used to be called catechism, right? So I'm a catechist. So I do that too. So I love teaching. So that's kind of my coach. So I mentioned about filling in those gaps in coaching and things that I was seeing out there. So what makes my coaching program different is I did a whole bunch of marketing of different people, because I was seeing things and how I felt, but I wanted to see, am I just different to other people? And I wasn't. So I am my ideal client, number one. And but what people were finding were that they were stuck, they were overwhelmed because they were learning all of these great strategies. There these programs teaching lots of all the strategies, like I learned too, all these great strategies, but they got stuck. In fact, they were overwhelmed. It was just too much. Like, How do I know which strategy is right for me? Which one do I go with? How do I know what to do? So that's where a lot of people get stuck and then they don't move forward. So I built my real estate coaching business to not just learn about the real estate investing strategies, but it's about finding out what's the one that fits, your lifestyle, your goals, and then also building a scalable business around it. So building in right at the beginning, easy putting in things in place like building your systems and your tools and making it repeatable, but also automating where possible to give you back time, right? So that as you scale, that your systems and processes can scale with you. You've already got that foundation on there that you can just rinse and repeat, right? So what sets my program apart is that number one, I have lots of real world experience. I told you a few of like the strategies that I've done. And there's some, like some issues that I've faced, some nightmares that I went through. And I'm able to use those to help you get through, your tough times, use my challenges to help you avoid the things that I've done and work you through that. It is, it's a one, you get lots of one-on-ones, so it's the hands-on approach. It's personalized and hands-on. So it's not a cookie cutter program. I meet you where you are and help you craft your strategy that's based on your unique goals, your risk tolerance, your resources, like how much time, how much money you have, etc. And even try to find you ways to find more money in what you have. So we focus also on mindset, we focus on strategy. So success in real estate is not just about numbers, it's about confidence, decision making, and resilience. So I help you develop the mindset and the skills needed that can help accelerate your growth. And whether it's passive or active investing, whether you want to be hands-on investor or prefer passive strategies, I help you to understand how to structure those investments and to work with you, not the other way around, right? And to work that so that investments work for you, not the other way around. Sorry about that. So that's a little about why what my program's about. There's a lot more involved in there. I help you with your build your credibility on social media. I help you put in, because my background is IT, I help you put in systems in place to like automate and make things repeatable, work with CRMs, work with automating your calendar, work with putting in like a project management system in place. My one of choice is Asana. So all of those things we build a business as you are building, as you're looking for the opportunities from your strategies perspective. So the end of the year, you have a business already built along with your opportunity. So um so the big thing is for people is like, well, why should I hire a coach? Can I just do this myself? Right. So that's a big question I want to address. A lot of people say, well, I don't need a coach. I could do this myself. I said it. And then I walked out of there and I had no idea. I had so much this knowledge, but I had no idea what to do with it. Right. So what a coach does is helps you collapse time, avoid costly mistakes, and reach your goal a lot faster. Real estate investing can be overwhelming. There's so much to learn, and the stakes are high. So here's why a coach is invaluable. A coach helps you to cut through the noise, focus on what matters, and take decisive action. Uh, a good coach asks you questions. You have the answers within you, but you don't know what questions to ask yourself. So that's what a good coach does. A good coach asks you the questions to get to for you to understand the answers that's within you of how to build that. Right. So So coach will cut through the noise, focus on what matters, and take this for you to take decisive actions. And then the coach will also is your accountability partner. It's easy. So my program, like I have both strategy one-on-ones and accountability one-on-one. So it's easy to get stuck in analysis paralysis and, and self-doubt. A coach will help keep you on track, encourage you, show you, what you've already achieved, keep pushing you to achieve your full potential, breaking it down bite size so that it's not like the phrase like how do you eat an elephant one bit at a time. Well, that's it. A coach helps you to do that. A coach provides expert guidance instead of trial and error. You get insights from someone that's already been there, done it. That's me, right? And I'm also like I help novice and aspiring real estate investors. So I'm not helping someone that's already a seasoned investor. I'm not there yet. And I think that's what happens a lot of times when someone is already like has been doing this for 20 years. It's hard to help someone that's just starting because they can't put themselves in that place anymore. It's been a while. So I've been there, done it. I'm not far away from there. So I know what you're going through and I can help you with that. Strategy planning, like a coach will help you to plan out a clear step-by-step tailored program for your financial goals and your lifestyle. Like what is it that you want to do? And then we put that plan in place so you can get started. I mentioned before, like I truly believe that tomorrow isn't promised. So yeah, we want to plan for tomorrow, but what can I get today? What can I start enjoying today? Because what if I'm not there tomorrow? So I want that for you too. So I help you to plan that in so that what can you start enjoying, some of this today. And then there's the connections and opportunities. So a great coach connects you with the right people, funding sources, opening doors that could take years for you to unlock. Well, I've got those contacts, and I can help you to unlock those. If you watch these podcasts, you'll see all these people I've interviewed that I know, and there's lots more to come. So I have those connections and can connect you with them. I like to think of myself as like a transactional engineer, like a connector of people too. So I'm a coach, sultant, and connector, right? So anyways, think of it this way. Even the most successful athletes and business leaders have coaches themselves. Of course, they pay a lot more, but yeah, they have coaches themselves because they know the value of getting expert guidance and accountability. Accountability is big, right? So it's hard for you to be accountable to yourself, but it's so much easier when you have somebody else that you don't want to disappoint. So if you're serious about scaling, your portfolio, your real estate investing portfolio, then definitely, and reach out to me. Having a coach is one of the smartest investments you can make. It's a difference between failure and mediocre, right? So, what's that? What does that mean to you? How much is that worth between failure and even mediocre? But then there's like, what would amazing look like? So there's that delta there. So what is that worth? That's why a coach is important. A coach helps you to get there a lot faster. And because sometimes if you're not going fast enough for yourself, you'll give up too. So you'll say, okay, well, this isn't for me because I'm making all these mistakes. I'm not getting there fast enough. So a coach helps you to not give up and get to that goal. So anyways, I think that's enough for me today. If you'd like to learn more about, my programs, my experience, do reach out to me. My email address is pretty simple, Debbie@debbiebalfour.com. So Debbie, the spelling of it. So, and you can find my website at www.debbiebalfour.com. So, and you'll find me also on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon. Debbie out.